call hello Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. I am not a member of Great Millstone, yet I have entered into their labors. Peace and blessings and mercy unto the sincere brothers and sisters who are in this thing, who are of the hopeful elect, the 144,000 and the innumerable multitude. I pray that, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is guiding you and keeping you, and I pray that I am of that number to be guided and kept as well. So, this is a brief update. You see the title. The ever so popular RT News. So this is from December of 2020. However, I wanted to use this as a backdrop, because don't think that just because 3 months have passed that this thing is going away. Just because you don't see it in the news, because you know what's in the news right now, the propaganda to get Jake to take this poisonous cocktail from the serpent, from who I affectionately refer to as the little horn. the little horn people, that's what we'll call them. And according to Daniel 7, we know who the little horn is. If you don't, type in GMS Daniel 7 breakdown. You'll see who I'm talking about. So let's kind of read through this thing. And then I'll grab a couple of scriptures and then I'll end it. This is just something to remind some of us, like myself included, because, just because things are kind of evening out just a little bit, this is only a calm before the storm. You still have the famine of the word that's going to come, and when these things come to a head, like the crash of the dollar, the mandatory implementation of this poker, and then the mandatory excited, and then the inevitable mandatory implementation of Revelations 13 and 16, or 16 and, you know what, let me not butcher it, because I think let's go, we just gonna go, I mess it up, I get the numbers mixed up. Is it 13 and 16? Yep. And the mandatory implementation of 13 and 16 of Revelations. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay. I just need to get that, before I mess it up. So let's read a little bit of this, like I said, and then we'll get a couple scriptures, and then we'll call it. But it's really just to keep brothers and sisters on their toes, and remember, like, just because you don't see these things, you might not be looking, and if you're not looking, you're wrong. We need to be, watching the times. Okay, so Russia has called for the U.S. to halt deployment of nuclear weapons on the territory of NATO's European members, arguing it both violates the terms of existing treaties and makes a devastating conflict more likely to happen. So this was only a couple months ago. Remember that. Don't think that any of these things have died down whatsoever. Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov, we'll just say Sergei R., told a meeting sponsored by energy companies Chevron and Transneft on Monday that Moscow hopes that the United States will stop sharing nuclear weapons with its allies and stop deploying nuclear weapons in countries that do not possess such weapons. Obviously, this leads to destabilization in addition to new risks appear, he added, and this is a violation of Article 1 and 2 of the Non-Proliferation Treaty. So I actually have it pulled up because I know what the word proliferation means, but I wanted to see what that treaty was about. So the Treaty of the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, commonly known as NPT, international treaty whose objective is to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and weapons technology, to promote cooperation in peaceful use of nuclear energy. But we know that they are their forefathers from the Greek and the Roman times. And if you read the book of Maccabees, how once Alexander's 4 generals took over, evils were multiplied greatly, right? So they can't, this devil, he wasn't created to be a peaceful animal. He was created to be a lowly brute beast. That's why Yahweh says that he puts the basis of men over over us, for our punishment. And I'm kind of talking and trying to do this at the same time. All right, so Maccabees 1:1, and it happened after Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chetham, had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and the Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. So they kicked out the actual Japhites who this land belonged to, and now the Edomite has taken it over and has called himself the Greek, as he has done everywhere around the world. Okay, so we got, let's keep going. Alright, so after this he fell sick and perceived he should die. Verse 6, when he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom amongst them while he yet was alive. Okay, so Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. That is also according to the book of Daniel 7. That leopard whose feet didn't touch the ground. And here we go. Verse 9, and after his death they all put crowns upon themselves, and so did their sons. So this is an heir. They had heirs that took over and continued in their folly. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. And you see that wicked root, Antiochus, Epiphanes, who put hell on our people. All right. Oh, we were supposed. Yeah, so we read the non-proliferation. Let's see if we can get the articles out of there. Just for edit. Or you know what? Go ahead and do it on your own. Find the 2 articles. I'm sure there's more, but find those 2 articles. Okay. All right. He went on to say that Russia is concerned about new moves by the U.S. to deploy so-called low-yield warheads. While these are less powerful in absolute terms, international organizations have warned they could be used to justify their use in less extreme circumstances, right? So it's a domino effect. And on a lower level, you have that going on here when they start letting these freaks come out and, so-and-so, it starts with so-and-so identify as one thing, and then they're like, well, if they can justify that, then I can justify this. And it's a never-ending circle and cycle of war, death, destruction, and wickedness because they do not adhere to the laws, which they weren't made to. The earth was given to us to show them how to do so. We're just currently in our final captivity, learning wickedness so that way we can be proper judges. All right, so let's see. R claims that this lowers the threshold, and we are seeing the return. The concept of limited nuclear war. U.S. military doctrine revealed itself 50 years ago when it believed that it could be acceptable to use nuclear weapons as a part of a conventional war. So the atom bomb, the atomic bomb, which is not necessarily a nuclear weapon, America dropped that on forget who Japanese, if I'm not mistaken, they're Ammon. But the devastation that you can see through that. Now think about all the 200,000, those are those missiles that are going to hit here. Think about, and that's why this land is going to be rendered uninhabitable. So I want to get the obvious, Revelation 17. Because we need to remember, like, even I have to remind myself of, like, you can't really fathom how bad it's going to be, but you can get your mindset prepared to see some things that, you've never seen before, or no one's ever seen before, because there has not been a nuclear war here yet. That's the third woe that's supposed to come to pass. Not supposed to. That's the third woe that will inevitably come to pass here in the near future. So let's. I'm gonna read up to. Let's start at 14. 17 and 14. These shall make war. So these are the 10 horns. Let's go to 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are the 10 kings. So this is also according to Daniel 7. Remember, those 10 horns are NATO and the EU and the vassal states who have all come together to form the beast. The whore is America. The whore rides on the beast, and the beast shall hate the whore, as we're going to read down. So that Roman Empire was the start. Well, starting with the Greeks, moving into the Roman Empires was the start of the beast, and this is the beast in its full power, right here and right now. So those 10 horns are still there. They're just called something else. Matter of fact, let's see. Okay. So 7 heads, 10 horns, in their current names. Or no, let's see. So let's get the current names of the 7 heads. We got UK, who actually pulled out of the EU, Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg. And those 10 horns, they're going to be the vassal states of Rome from back in the day, but they are all here under new European names, so-called European names. So those 10 horns are going to be the Vandals, the Ostrogoths, Visigoths, Alemanni, that's Alamani, the Franks, who are French now, Burgundians, Lombards, Anglo-Saxons, the Suevi, that's Suevi. It has a couple of different spellings, and then you have the Heruli. I should have wrote those separately because now I kind of want to say them the same way, and that's going to be Heruli. So threw that little tidbit in there. Hold on, lost my spot. All right, so now we're at 13. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. They shall make war. Oh, matter of fact, also look up the statement for EU or for the NATO. I think it's like many nations, one tongue, or something like that. Look that up as well. All right, so verse 14. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords, so that's Yahweh Shai, and the King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. The point is at 16, here we go. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So whatever the daughter of Babylon is going to do, it is going to cause NATO and EU to turn their back. Everybody's going to turn their back on this place, and that is the fulfillment of the third woe, or the end of it. That's that last trumpet that's going to sound, is when these nukes gonna hit here. And we need to be praying for mercy, and we need to be meditating on the things that are coming, not out of fear, but just to be prepared. Prepare your mind and realize that none of us are guaranteed to be saved. The remnant are there, of course, but humbly, how do we know? We ought to be praying and making our call and election sure. But I just wanted to bring this out to just have it be a quick reminder to brothers, man. Like this is coming. This is coming. You cannot stop it. But we need to have faith that we are of the elect, because he said his servants shall eat, and we shall laugh while people are starving and are mourning, because they're laughing now and they're happy now. But those of us who are of a righteous mind, we're mourning, we're vexed with the bullshit that you see going on day in and day out. And speaking of the inevitable, we might as well get it. Damn, here we go. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing the long way with this app. But yep, see that red horse? Where are we? Oh, here we go. And the heavens departed as a scroll when it rolled together. This is Revelation 6 and 14. And every mountain and island were moved out of their place, and the kings of the earth, and great men, and rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in dens. Those are those dumbs, those deep underground military bunkers. And some of those rich folks that are getting these bunkers that, if they had any sense, they wouldn't put them here in America. But anyway, and in the rocks of the mountains, and said unto the mountains, fall, or said unto the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne. So that's when, Yahushua shows up. So in the midst of the mandatory implementation, where you have the nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, okay, you know what? Hold on, because I think this is for the sake of edification. We're gonna pull them out as they come to me. I'm gonna pull them out. Okay. All right, so Isaiah 19:2, and I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So this can be applied to here, right now, against people on this continent, fighting and turning against each other, because they are going to realize that their government has been raping them and robbing them for the longest time. And not to mention, people are jobless, and people are going to be hungry, and people will need to feed their children. And when a dog is backed into a corner, what does it do? Right? So this can also be applied to, because the Russians are Edomites too. And all these other nations, these that are the 10 horns, they're Edomites. So, it's brother against brother, but on a worldwide scale, on an international scale. So we need not be joined unto these people, lest we partake of her sins. And I'm going to get one more. We're going to get the famous Matthew 24, and then I'll call it, because that's just, like I said, I wanted this to be a reminder how we ought to be watching diligently. Wait, I went too far. Okay. Matthew 24:6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. So, like I said, that article was last year of December. For rumors keep building up and keep piling up, and eventually it will no longer be a rumor. It'll be right here in your face. And the scriptures also say, though it tarry, it won't tarry. So when it comes, it's boom, full force. And that's why our minds need to be prepared. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. So we also know that Esau Edom is the sword, is the whooping stick of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So you've heard your boy Willie Gates talking about this summer, like, people are going to take this next one really serious. So it's blatantly, it's in your face. If you have eyes to see and ears to hear, they're telling you, they're planning these things out. So through this devil, who is the physical counterpart of the spiritual angel, the spiritual angel of Satan, he is here to carry out his will, which is ultimately the Most High's will, because he is an omnipotent power, right? But I lost my train of thought. So yeah, about the pestilence. So these things are coming. What they are, I don't know. You know in part, you prophesy in part. But for once, they're telling you, and most importantly, right here, the scriptures are telling us. All right, so we'll keep reading. And earthquakes in diverse places, so we're already seeing those. And the volcanoes are going off and all these things, right? All these are the beginning of sorrows. They shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. So some of us will have to die, and or give up this flesh. But because death ain't the end all be all. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. That's also something we need to be prepared for. Your own family turning against you because of you believing in this truth. Or things can't return to normal because of you being quote unquote stubborn. But Yahweh Bashim Yahushai says we are the ones standing faithful for the name. Oh, we're on 11. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many, right? Because our people are notorious for believing anything that is put in front of them, accepting anything for face value. Verse 12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And we're already seeing that. That's just the culmination, especially because people, like I said, are going to be hungry, are going to be in need, and children are going to be in need. And this is going to be one big, ugly bubble that's going to pop. So hopefully you were edified. Kwam Yasharala, Baba Ball.